Alrighty, this is the final replay analysis for the last week's scrim. This is the P1 Juggernaut. It's kind of weird. I'm on his perspective, but he's not looking at where he's going. Okay, starting items looks good. Quelling, 2 sets of tangos, branch, stats, and a mango. I like that. Interesting. I like the mango, maybe for a spin to try and get a kill here. So who's your lane partner? Is it Ogre? It is. Ogre's got excellent looking stuff. The clarities might get popped, but everything else looks really good. Lots of heavy regen for this lane, and with the Ogre stun and slow, you guys should be able to get a couple spin kills. So the slow will probably be used from long range to get you close. So it'll probably ignite, and then you spin on top of that if you're already on top of them, or as Ogre is stunning. But either way, that should be a good kill attempt, or at least half their life. Either way, you guys aren't going for this rune at all. That's a shame. So you guys kind of danced around this area. You didn't really get vision of them until the last second, and then you decided not to go in at all. That's a mistake, I think. So you could have easily done a lot of damage with, spin ignite. The ignite, when there are no creeps nearby, it goes to 2 targets, so you would get them on both heroes every time, and then you just spin one of them down. So you not going for the spin at all was a big mistake. You wasted the first 30 seconds of your game. That was an easy kill attempt. Clockwork doesn't want to go cogs level 1, and worst case scenario, he does skill his cogs and then pushes you out from the spin attempt, and you guys go back to lane. And then Clockwork is basically screwed for the first probably 2 minutes as he's trying to get Battery Assault. Especially if he stays over here and leaves the experience on his lane partner. Alright, let's go back actually watch the media group waves, as I was on someone else's perspective, didn't realize it. Alright, so no block here. I don't mind that because you didn't have any vision, so you didn't know how much you could or couldn't block. Let's see. You aggro the creeps back and stop. Okay, aggro them all back. Easy one, that's good. Now you can go ahead and start prepping this deny, but waiting isn't terrible either, but now you don't have any chance to follow these. Okay, that's fine. There's no reason to hold that out of tower range. You might as well bring that back. So if you're going to bring it back, the one thing that I would say is when you do bring it back, there's no reason to stop and loop. Bring it all the way back to the creeps, because when you bring it back and you loop there for a second, the creep almost died before this wave did anything. And so they're basically not slowed down at all. If you had brought the creep all the way back and then your creep wave paused and stopped in place for a second to end up engaging that one, then you would have delayed their overall progress marching up the lane. But because you stopped closer to tower and then looped back towards it, the creep stayed here. It took a tower hit sooner than the creeps would have gotten to it, and so basically these creeps weren't slowed down at all. So you could probably have these creeps probably about here. And again, the difference between here and here is not a lot, but it may help you, in the macro sense of the lane equilibrium. There's no reason to let the creeps run up further than they already are, especially when your creeps are way out of position as is. The block attempt here is good, though. Kind of gave up on it there. You can keep blocking. Okay, there, still trying to block. That's good. But now you've lost a creep. So now you're missing one of your melees here. Good aggro back of your range creep. You should deny this as quick as you can. So prep that with a deny. Okay, so because you walked around here and you just let these 2 melees naturally get the range creep down to where it was within 1 deny hit range, you wasted a little bit of time where you could be back up here. As soon as you see this range go down to below 50, you need to start denying that and prep it with probably not 2, probably just 1 hit early when you know it's nowhere near being killed off, and then you have enough time to watch them continue to hit it and then get the perfect deny. But the fact that you kind of like wandered a little loop here and you didn't even bother hitting it at all means this creep also isn't last hittable at this point, and you're not close enough that you can start flying these creeps up here and maybe deny one of these as the wave pushes forward. So it's a very small inefficiency there. And now basically you're doing the same thing. You're just going to walk these creeps all the way home, which is all right. Now, in this case, because there's so much strength on those creeps, well, I don't know why you killed that one. It is good to hold the creeps here out of tower range. The problem is, A, you killed that other creep off early when the creeps would have aggroed to the full health creep first. So you actually could have let that creep do more damage to your melees. And now you have the tower hitting this last creep. So this guy's going to die way too quickly. And again, the whole wave's just going to push up. So tiny little bit of efficiency again. Let that creep stay because he's not the one that gets hit. The creep that runs up first is going to get hit, and it looked to me like that was the full health one. So he could have gotten, a quarter health damage on one of these creeps, and any little bit helps at this point. And then really don't bring him into tower range because this arc here where you pulled him all the way back is too far. So now instead of this guy dying slower, you actually missed that last hit because of that tower. This is a good attempt, but you're too slow. So you have to realize this early on when you can and can't go for a Blade Fury kill. That sound is really irritating. I'm gonna wait till that stops. Okay. So you have to check and realize early on whether or not you can get Blade Fury kills on certain people. So Ogre, I'm pretty sure, knew that Clock had boots, and so he's got an awful lot of movement. So you're 355, you're all the way down at 243. You're more than 100 away. Let me just show this guy. All right. So you have to realize that unless there's, an ignite and a stun or something where you're right on top of that clockwork, you're not going to get the spin kill. Maybe if he trapped himself in cogs, which would have been silly, then you would have caught up, but it's really not worth it for you to try and run him down. And you should have known that early on. So even if Ogre doesn't tell you, you need to check the inventory of both your lane opponents and see when they're getting boots and movement speed items, especially if you're not going to get early boots, because it doesn't look like you're going to have them for a while. You went for the full Wraith Band, which will help your last hitting, but it won't help you get spin kills. Your Wraith Band is worthless for spin kills, and really in a Juggernaut lane, Jug plus a stun or Jug plus a slow is all about the spin kill. So you really want to be trying to use Blade Fury to kill someone off. It's a big part of laning as a Juggernaut. It's nice that you get the Wraith Band, you get an extra little bit of right clicks, but your lane equilibrium is terrible. Slardar's out, farming the lane on you. So he's up to 10, you're down at 5. So he's got twice as many CS than you do, or as you do, English. And you're just losing the lane badly. And so the way you want to try and catch up is with that Blade Fury. Coordinate with the Ogre, coordinate with your support, tell him, hey, I'm coming, and that way he knows not to use his Ignite early, like the Ogre did in that case. He used the Ignite while the Clockwork was here, and you were still way over here in the lane. If you're not on the other side of this tree, about to pop out of the Fog of War to get him, you're too late. You're too far and you're too late. And the Ogre has committed his disables and his slows too early. So you really need to try and communicate that better so it's clear that, hey, even though the Clockwork has 100 movement speed advantage on you, if the Ogre stuns and then slows, you're going to be able to get it. But that was basically a complete waste of the spin, and I think you don't even try to go for another spin attempt for the rest of the laning phase because of that. Yeah, so now you're out of lane. Slardar's free farming. He's up to 13. You're still down at 5. It's really bad. That's a free deny there. I get you didn't want to take one hit from the Slardar, but really taking one right click from the enemy laner in order to get a deny is absolutely worth it. Okay, it's a good one. It's a freebie. You can start prepping that one. Looks like you're going to miss this deny completely. You're not even going for it. Oh, good. Okay. So it was a good attempt. Good deny on the range creep. That was important. Alright, that was a good one. And then bring this whole wave back. This is fantastic. Try not to let too many of the creeps into the tower range. You can let one creep, because they've got so many more creeps attacking, it's good that you need to start, kind of fighting them a little bit. But it's not as big a deal if you let one creep get into tower range. Okay, interesting. Use of spin to avoid the stun. Wasn't bad. I don't mind it, especially considering how many creeps there were there. But you probably didn't have to do that. And now you're basically at so low mana that you've got maybe one more spin attempt where you're out lane. Is this good blocking the creeps? No. See, if you're going to stand there and you're going to hold the creeps out of tower range, that's good. But then don't run back and then get scared just because the Slar runs up a little bit. You brought these creeps into tower range when you were balancing them perfectly. If you had just stayed for another half second, this lane equilibrium would have been absolutely perfect. But you pulling these two creeps into the tower aggro range now ruins the whole lane again, because now you're going to basically annihilate this whole wave real quick. You're going to shove these guys back up here, and you're going to end up somewhere here on the map rather than way down here. So, small equilibrium mistake there. Deny this. There you go. Good. Yep, last hit. So your last hits so far are good. Recently. You ready to get that one? Yep. Okay, that's a shame, but he did waste his stun for that. Ogre should have ignited him there. You didn't need to do that early. You put extra hits on that. Now that your creeps are getting away from you, you really don't want these 2 creeps to survive because now this lane is botched in this position. So really non-ideal creep management. Good to bait out the stun in there. Slardar assumed his range was a little longer. Bind boots first. That's good. I would have preferred them before the Wraith ban, but whatever. You need to deny this quick to get back into your lane. So you should have prepped this one. You definitely should have prepped that creep because now you can't chase your lane. You know the Clockwork isn't able to contest you, so you really want to follow those creeps up because right now Slardar is up here and he's free farming these and you don't even have a chance to deny anything because you've just completely given up. You let the lane walk away and you basically decided I'm going to walk back and meet my next wave. I've given up on whatever the remnants were of that, and that's a mistake. Even if you don't get any of the denies, those creeps are going to do some damage, and if they do, more than 50%, Slardar is going to deny whichever one of his melee creeps hits first, and you're going to miss out on the tiny bit of experience that you'd have gotten from just staying within XP range. So that was a mistake. Okay, that was a point where you probably don't want to aggro back. That was good. Get that range creep denied pretty quick. Prep it. See, you're really not prepping it. You prep melee creeps, but you don't prep range creeps, which is weird to me. Okay, secured that one. Yep. You should deny and bring them back. Okay. That works, but... yeah, now move these all the way back. Deal. You really need to be going for a spin attempt here. So this is the perfect spot where Slardar is going to come up into the waves a little bit, and, when your supports are off doing something, tell the guy to come back, tell your ogre to come back, and ignite him from here, and then when you start spinning, stun him from here. If he gets Slardar from the other side of these trees, Slardar doesn't understand what's going on. You guys still have vision up here at this camp, so you guys control the vision in basically this L-shaped alley, so they're not going to see you. The Clockwork didn't put a ward here, didn't put a ward here, so they're not going to see if the ogre's on this side. So with the ogre playing so far out of lane, as the core, you got to basically suggest to him, hey, we can go for a kill here if you use both your disables. And then basically he ignites as Slardar comes up to try and get his first last hit. You spin into him to avoid his defensive stun, and then the ogre stuns again as you're probably 3/4 of the way through your spin, or basically ending your spin. And even if you don't kill him, you probably take out half of his life. Slardar hasn't used his salve yet. I wonder if he actually came to lane with only 3 tangos or if he came with 6. Because if he came with 3, then that's really embarrassing because you guys haven't done any harass on him and he has 100% of his starting regen items, which would be really unfortunate. You're also good on tango, so that's not bad, but you really want to play more aggressively, especially when the clock is roaming so much. Clock roaming this hard should be a loss for them. That should be an absolute screw up for their lane. It doesn't work nearly as well unless you guys panic and overreact to it and try and, get the ogre to protect your own couriers, or you guys, basically play hide and seek with the clock while, you're 1v1 in an unfavorable matchup. And in an unfavorable matchup where the Slardar is better at laning than you are, and directly counters you when you try to go for these lanes, because, Slardar is just so great at laning against melees, you really need the ogre here, because the ogre brings more to your 2v2 lane than the Clockwork does for him. And so, depending on how it's played. So you're really missing out on a big piece of trying to take back this lane because you're losing the farm. Well, actually, you've caught up nicely because of some of these waves. You were losing. Now you're actually you're 3 ahead. Yeah, so 3 ahead is really good considering you were significantly behind. But you should be doing a lot better. And you got to use another spin to try and get a kill attempt. All right, enough of that. You really got to prep these range creeps. Okay, you still got the deny on it. See, now, I wouldn't have done that. Yeah, bring them back up. That's good. I thought you were going to take it to the tower for a second. So that's better. Using it to rematch that lane, that's perfect. Even though he gets that free last hit there. This is good. Now bring this part a little bit into the tower, or just farm it. I guess that works. That's not terrible. That was a freebie. You should have easily had that last hit. Killing this range creep is not a good idea. You basically push the lane for nothing there. You're not going to miss. You missed that. You missed that. All right, so that's 3 misses so far. Okay, it was a good deny. think you needed a crit there to get that one, actually. Okay, so you right there, that was a mistake. You prioritized the deny over the last hit. So you, as the carry, you almost always want to prioritize the last hit where you get the golden experience rather than the deny, where you only remove some of the experience and you get no gold. You had two creeps that were about the same amount, and you decided to go for the deny. And the thing is, you don't know where Slardar is. He might not even be in experience range. He might be, but he might not be. He might have gone off to do something else because you haven't seen him for like the past 20-some seconds. So you might have even just wasted the deny entirely because there might not be an enemy hero in this vicinity to even gain that experience. And so you gave up the last hit for free. So try and prioritize the last hits when you're uncontested like this. If you're free farming, no one else is around, nothing's going on, you think there may not even be a hero in the area, get your own last hits, and then if you miss some denies, that's okay. That's not as big of a deal, but you really don't want to miss the last hits in favor of a deny that could be worthless. Alright, so he was in the area, but still, no point stance. So you like to aggro the creeps back every single time, no matter what. And normally that's good if you're trying to get the range creep denied, but in this case you're not going to. So the catapult is sitting in front of it. They're going to go right back to the melee lane here, and you're bringing them within tower aggro range. And so every time you try and pull these three front melee creeps in, if you pull them in and the tower starts hitting them, you've shoved your entire wave up. The next wave is going to be out of position and in a bad spot because you've done that. Oh, excuse me. So try to not get in the habit of pulling every single lane or aggroing back every single creep wave, because it's just the thing to do, especially when you're within your own tower range. When you're this close to the tower, you want to keep the creep line right up here, and you don't want any of these creeps to walk past. And if the Slardar for some reason aggroes your creep line past, you need to then stay up here with him and hold the creeps, even if it takes a little more damage, so that the creeps don't run away. Because again, you've got a lot of regen in 5, almost 6 minutes, really 6 minutes, because the game starts at -1. 6.5 minutes, you've used 2 tangos, so you haven't had to ferry out any more regen. You haven't had to ferry out a salve, I don't think. I'm forgetting something, but I don't think you've gone through much regen at all. And the Slardar definitely hasn't gone through his, so this has been a very passive, uneventful lane for you, and you can take a little more harass. You don't have to stay as sort of scared as you've been playing this way. The pulling creeps back is really excellent when you're in an unfavorable matchup and basically impossible lane to lane against for whatever reason that hero direct counters you or something. But it's not so bad right now that you need to pull every single one into your tower. Try and decide that based on where the creeps are. Like, yeah, this lane is going to push out. You got to get up close. You could have denied that one easily. You ran away and looped around for no reason and missed a free deny. Don't start hitting this catapult. Okay, so this is a huge mistake. The catapult is excellent because it takes regular lane creeps so long to kill it, other than the other siege creep. You really want to leave the catapult as long as you can because it holds basically the lean equilibrium here. If you kill this catapult and your catapult's shoving up with full health, you're just continuing to force this lane further and further away from your tower. So you need to leave this catapult as full health as you can, because really you're not anywhere near getting the last hit on this catapult. It's not happening. And you'll be able to be close enough and sort of stick around when the next wave comes up, because your next wave is here halfway between the tier 1 and tier 2. So you're not in any position of losing it. You doing the extra damage on this catapult is an absolute waste, and you're just shoving the lane further and further away from your tower. It's backwards. You keep hitting the catapult for no reason. And the thing is, the catapult is knocking down your range creep. What you want to do is you want to watch until this range creep hits just below half, and then you want to try and go for the deny while Slardar is still trying to get the last hit on this melee up here. Because if you deny this range creep because of the catapult that did so much damage, that's fantastic. Now it looks like Slardar is actually going to deny the catapult because you hit it so many times that Slardar came up, realized it was about to get low, and then you got scared and ran away from the Slardar, and now you're playing back here, basically giving up on the lane again for the 500th time, and Slardar is going to deny the catapult that you could have gotten if you just waited for the waves to push up. You tried to spin, and he still got the deny on you. So you wasted your mana for spin to try and secure a catapult and lost it. That's a shame. Okay, now that was a mistake. So you prepped that and you gave it to him for free. That creep was very clearly within 2 hits of dying, And so you hitting it and dropping it a little bit lower was obvious for the Slardar to turn around and then take the last hit, because you weren't going to be able to catch up to it because you're not fast enough. You don't have the phase boots, and your attack speed isn't so high that you're going to get 2 hits on a running creep when Slardar is going to get 1 hit coming at him. So that was a huge mistake, because Slardar wouldn't have gotten that last hit if it got into the tower, and the tower basically one-shot that creep down. So Slardar basically got an impossible last hit because you decided to prep it for him, which makes no sense. Alright, so now you're running away. You also haven't... Okay, I was about to say, you haven't cut any of these trees to be able to do your own pulls. You haven't had a good opportunity to pull, but this is probably the first one. So that's nice, but I would have cut those trees way early at the beginning of the game. And okay, that was good. You got it. And you need to follow them in. Don't run back. Follow these in and start prepping these. Okay, you're just gonna let them deny. Oh, all right. So this is a mistake, because they're going to come in on your range creep and you're going to be confused as to which way you go here. So you missed the one last hit that you wanted to go for. Now you're basically trying to like balance between which side do I want to play on, when you could have gotten those easy 2 last hits and let the creeps hit the large purple satyr by itself at the end. Yeah, so you missed the deny on the range creep, and now Slardar is going to steal your purple satyr. So you basically gave Slardar free experience and a free last hit on a large creep that he otherwise wouldn't have got. So a lot of the things you're doing, it looks like you're playing for the enemy team. You're doing everything that the offlaner wants you to do, and it's really weird. Okay, no reason for you to... Okay, so you prepped that one early, you missed it, and then you took the range creep down for nothing. Yeah, you're really playing scared here with how you think the last hits are going to go. And so you're basically wiping out this wave early. That's not excellent. Yeah, so you guys have a strong wave coming up now. You're not even helping. Deny that. There you go, okay. And you guys need to go for an attack here. So what the hell was that? That point where he tried to go for the stun, you should have spun before the stun hit, because you can see the animation where he does his little thing where he raises his staff. You should have immediately spun right there, and then the ogre should have ignited and stunned him. So this is a huge mistake here. That was an easy way for you to get more than these 3 last hits. Now he's probably going to do something silly. Oh, he's not even hitting the Slardar. He's trying to go for a courier kill. It's impossible. That was a waste of your Omni Slash, unfortunately. Even if you'd gotten all of them on the Slardar, that wouldn't have worked out because you didn't have your spin. So if you had done that, you gotten all your jumps on the Slardar, and you had spin, that might have been a kill. But you wasted spin early, then you went for a kill where you weren't going to be able to run down the Slardar, and you didn't have anything afterwards. You don't want to use the spin to initiate into your Omni Slash. Early. You were hoping for a crit there or something, I guess. Yeah, that clockwork is way faster than you guys at this point. You missed whatever early attempt you had to get that. That was a good deny, though. Still got 2 of your tangos. Not taking any damage at all. That was an okay spot to go for a spin on the clockwork. I thought you were going for the clock at that point, because clock was ignited and you could have spun on him. You guys are really not interested in doing that. Yeah, it does not pierce spell immunity. You need to be spinning onto the damn clock. Okay, see now, why would you run away there? So Ogre ignites the Slardar, so he's now slowed. You could get your full duration spin on the Slardar once he's slowed like that. Let's see, what does Slardar have for boosts? Power treads, 269. You're up to 350 with your phase boots. So you could have easily spun right there as as Ogre was slowing him, and then you basically spin him for a little bit. He tries to stop and hit you to get 3 builds up for the stun, and then Ogre stacks his stun on top. So you guys probably would have either, probably would have dropped the Slardar to at least half HP, maybe a third. But you just ran away from it, and so he basically wasted his ignite. It was a harassing nuke ignite, which is pointless because the value of an ogre ignite is to slow him so that the other 2 can basically get in there and beat the enemy. And you're just not comboing your spells at all. Neither one of you is probably talking over voice about when to go for these spells, and you shouldn't even need to go for voice because the cast windup for Ignite is so huge. You hear the baseball bat sound, you see the glob of fire flying through the air. Like, that's your time to activate your phase boots, run toward the Slardar, and start spinning. Looks like you even activated the phase boots and then didn't go for it. Alright, that's a good prep on the range creep deny. Slardar tried to stun to secure it, but he was too far. That worked out well. Okay, it's not excellent here, but alright. You need to go help the ogre here. Okay, maybe not, but I thought the ogre was going to get caught out. Trapped. Alright, so it looks like laning's over for you. Let's see where your last hits are good. So 50, 13, 63 to 55. So you did catch up over the Slardar a little bit, which is surprising because he was doing so much better early on, but somehow I lost it later as you got a little more damage. Let's check net worth. Okay, so you're actually at the top of your team, which is good. That doesn't always happen. So that worked out okay. That lane wasn't terrible, but you guys, I think, missed a lot of opportunities. And with a Jug Ogre lane, I would have expected that to go much better, especially with the Clockwork roaming. So it was okay, but you know, sort of a missed opportunity. But at least you didn't lose the lane or anything weird like that. All right, let's go ahead and end this. We'll do the mid-game stuff.